Why protests are currently traversing the city of Abuja and some other cities in Nigeria by the beloved fans of Very Dark Man and his supporters on a hashtag Free Very Dark Man, owing to the arrest that was made by EFCC over the last 48 hours, demanding immediate release of Very Dark Man. The EFCC, Nigeria Economic and Financial Crime Commission, has just made a statement. And according to that statement that is currently readily available on the internet space, as was signed by EFCC spokesperson, one Mr. Dele Oyewole, EFCC has finally revealed that Very Dark Man was arrested on account of multiple petitions, on account of multiple allegations. They went further to state categorically that they are law-abiding institutions in Nigeria, that they will be soon charging Very Dark Man to court as soon as he is able to meet up with all his bail conditions. And sequel to this very statement that was released by EFCC has been met with a lot of criticisms by Nigerians home and abroad, as well with a lot of mixed feelings and mixed reactions. Why many continue to ask, what exactly did Very Dark Man do that warranted such an arrest? Well, good people, like I pointed out in my previous video, I made it clear that the onus, the responsibility is now on EFCC to make a statement explaining in clear terms why they arrested Very Dark Man and the persons behind his arrest. Unfortunately, I can say that this very statement from EFCC is not enough. It is not detailed, and I can equally go further to say that EFCC has actually not said anything. Yes, I was expecting to have a clear definition of what the petitions are, and possibly from who and who, even if they are going to hide the identities of the people who brought all of this, humongous petition against Very Dark Man. They should have at least mentioned some of these very petitions. However, according to the EFCC spokesperson, Mr. Dele Oyewole, he maintained that it is their responsibility to protect the identity of the people who have brought these numerous, petitions against Very Dark Man. Having said that, it is equally important to highlight a few things from that very statement which was released by Sahara reporters, that according to the Take It Back movement, one of the non-governmental human rights organizations, according to the statement that was also released by one Mr. Adekunle, they maintained equally in their statement that Very Dark Man was arrested shortly after exiting Guarantee Trust Bank. This goes alongside with my earlier speculations and my earlier clarification that Very Dark Man was not arrested inside of GT Bank. However, it is heartbreaking to say this again, which I maintained in my previous video. Why did EFCC decided to arrest Very Dark Man in such unlawful, inhuman manner? Did EFCC, like I asked earlier, did EFCC send any invitation to Very Dark Man for questioning and for interrogation earlier before coming out to the street to arrest Very Dark Man? These are where the issues are in this country, Nigeria. Political rascality. If there are petitions against somebody, as a law-abiding institution, it is expected of you to send an invitation to that young man. I remember the case of Yahaya Bello, who has a known case of squandermania in Kogi State. EFCC sent several invitations to Yahaya Bello, of which he never showed up. That case, only God in heaven knows how it's going and what is happening to that very case as we live in this country, Nigeria. But here is a Very Dark Man who has actually stood up over time, speaking for a lot of people. Like I equally maintained, no man is a saint. And as a law-abiding citizen, as a man who advocates for due process, justice and fairness, as well as using public funds for the public good of the people, I sincerely, in all honesty, agree that the law enforcement agencies must do their job. In a case or situations where somebody is being investigated or where allegations and petitions are leveled against anybody for any punishable crime or any punishable offense, but due processes must be followed. That is why we are human beings. That is why we are not animals. But when you begin to do things in a manner that portrays you as animals in the bush, that is where we'll begin to come in and begin to address situations like that. More so, it is equally important to highlight that the APC South-South chapter has given Very Dark Man a 7-day ultimatum to apologize to Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, owing to how Very Dark Man criticized the Senate President and other delegates that was sent by Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu to attend the funeral ceremony of Pope Francis, who passed on the 21st of April 2025. Very Dark Man maintained, according to that very publication, that Senator Godswill Akpabio has no moral right, alongside with his delegates, to travel all the way to Rome to pay homage for these funeral services, owing to the recent killings which has bedeviled Nigeria, home and abroad, that they should actually be paying condolence visits to families in Benue State, in Enugu, in Kwara, in Ogun State, where Fulani herdsmen and other banditry have actually unalived many Nigerians. This, however, didn't go down well with APC political party, and as such, they have issued a warning to Very Dark Man to tender an apology to APC as well as to Senator Godswill Akpabio. And according to the content of that publication that was made by APC South chapter, they claim that Very Dark Man has been very notorious in recent time in blackmail, slander and character assassination, while claiming to advocate and fight for the masses. These were some of the grounds upon which they have given Very Dark Man a 7-day ultimatum to apologize to APC as well as to Senator Godswill Akpabio. Well, there are other issues and other cases of which Very Dark Man has been involved, in the past time and even in the present time. A typical example is that of Mercy Chinwo and some others that are both known and unknown. However, we cannot say precisely which of these cases are part and parcel of the reasons why he was arrested. And that is why I insisted that EFCC ought to have given a very clear, press statement detailing, what are the content of the petitions against Very Dark Man, so that many Nigerians, home and abroad, will know in clear terms what the issues are. But as it stands, Nigerians will continue to speculate and make guesswork on what actually, constitute the reasons why EFCC arrested him. Well, at this point, all I can wish Very Dark Man is the very best of luck, and I sincerely hope that he meet his bail condition and come out also to share his own side of the story, why the law takes its course. But one thing is very certain: our security agencies must actually do better. They must learn to act in accordance with the law and not acting in defiance to the set down rules, violating people's personal right and violating people's fundamental human rights, which of course has been the case of a common man in Nigeria. A common man is always being treated like a trash in this country. So long you fall within the category of the so-called criminal political elite, you will be protected, you will be shielded. So in conclusion, at this point, I will allow you to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. Man, another person, Siam. God bless you.